Hi. So in this video, we want to talk about stakeholder interviews. In earlier video, we talked about empathy walk. The main difference between empathy walk and stakeholder interview is in empathy walk, there is no agenda, just to understand people, get to see the world from their eyes. Stakeholder interview has a specific agenda. It is to see our role from the eyes of the stakeholder. So who are the stakeholders? Your staff, your customers, your vendors, family members, people who get impacted by your actions or lack of actions, right? And of course, your decisions, right? So you can say your decisions, your behaviors, your actions, and the lack of them. So now when you want to see the world from the stakeholders' perspective, you're looking at what do they want from my role? What do they expect from me? So when you are interviewing them, again, you're not a journalist asking them a lot of questions. It's a deep conversation. And all deep conversations are slow conversations. So you need to have time, half an hour, 45 minutes to do a stakeholder interview at least. I would recommend that you schedule, wherever possible, you schedule the meeting in advance. You tell them, okay, I would like to interview you, and schedule that meeting, okay? Now, let's look at what do you do in the meeting. So in a stakeholder interview, there are 3 phases. And each phase will have one anchor question. And then there are follow-up questions that come naturally if you're listening with open mind and open heart and open will. What is open heart, open mind, open heart, open will? You already have discovered. But basically, you're willing to put aside all your knowing and operate from not knowing. You're willing to put aside all your opinions and judgments and listen with a fresh perspective. You're willing to see the world from their eyes. And you're willing to let go of the past, how things have been done in the past, and you're willing to see how things could have been done, how they can be done in the future, right? So keeping that in mind and your commitment to have a great relationship with them. Why are you interviewing a stakeholder? Because you want to have some great relationship with them, great partnership with them. So that would be useful. Another thing that will be useful in doing a stakeholder interview is operating from listening to the other person as their highest future possibility. So instead of listening to them from your downloading, your opinion, judgment, and all that stuff, listening to them from what is the highest future possibility for this person? You don't have to say that, don't say that, right? But like really listening for that. Okay, so coming to the 3 phases. So first phase has 2 parts in the question. Most important question is the question number 1. If you don't ask that and you do something else, you're not doing a stakeholder interview, you are doing something else. By the way, this is not about feedback. So don't use the stakeholder interview to create it like a traditional feedback conversation. Okay, so what's the first question? First question is, what is your most important objective? आपका सबसे महत्वपूर्ण उद्देश्य क्या है? You ask that question. Now, sometimes people will say, oh, are you asking in my life or are you asking in my professional context? You say whatever you want to share. Let them decide what they want to share. Now, if they share something about their life, that's good. You get to know them better. You get connected with them better. And then you can encourage them to share about their professional life, if that is what you want the discussion to be about. So then they will say, now most people are not ready with the answer for this question. So you have to listen peacefully, encourage them to speak more, encourage them to speak more. Listen, 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 open mind, open heart, open will. Remember? So they will share, you encourage them, they'll share more, encourage them, they'll share more, understand that objective, preferably recap it, like, oh, this is what I understood. Is that correct? Anything else you want to add into that? Be patient. If it takes half an hour, let it take half an hour. There's no hurry. Then once they share that, then you can ask the second part of the first question, and which is also part of the first phase, is how can I or we help you realize this objective? How can I or we help you to accomplish this objective? ये objective पूरा करने के लिए हम कैसे मददरूप हो सकते हैं? And then they may say something, or they may say, I don't know, and then you can explore. So now don't misuse it to sell something, okay? So this is like really understanding and getting into their world. Now, once you complete this phase of the conversation, you're going to the second phase. Now, you're not telling them that these are different phases and all that, but for you, you know that there's one phase where you're understanding their objective and how you could be useful in fulfilling that objective. Now, the second phase is about measurement. So you're looking at how are they going to measure your contribution. So you ask them that. What criteria will you use to evaluate whether my contribution to your objective was successful or not? आपके उद्देश्य में मेरा योगदान सक्सेसफुल रहा कि नहीं, यूजफुल रहा कि नहीं, उसके लिए वो देखने के लिए आप क्या मापदंड यूज करेंगे? And then let them think and let them respond and make a note of it. And then again, preferably recap. Maybe you can recap both the things, like, oh, this was your objective, and this is how you would measure, and this is what you would like me to contribute, and then this is how would you measure it, right? How you would measure it. Okay, great. Then let's look at, so this will take whatever time it takes, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, don't worry. Then you go to the third phase. The third phase is about focus. So you're asking them a question. In my area of responsibility, if I could change 2 things over the next 6 months, or depending on whatever time frame is appropriate, what 2 things will add maximum value or benefit to you? मेरे क्षेत्र में, जो मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का क्षेत्र है, उसमें अगर मैं 2 चीज बदल सकूं, तो कौन सी 2 चीज है जिससे आपको सबसे ज्यादा फायदा होगा? So instead of trying to do 100 things, you are getting clear what are the 2 things they are expecting you to do. Okay, so this is the third phase. And again, go slow, don't worry, don't need to hurry up the whole thing. Now, once you understand the whole thing, you do the recap of the whole thing, then you can think over and say, now, if you agree to what they are saying 100%, you could say that, okay, I think I agree, I get what you're saying, and that's perfect. Sometimes you may say, sometimes you may discover that you have to think over what they're saying, this new, right? So you can tell them that, okay, I think this is very good input you have given. Some of these are new for me. I didn't realize it this way. Let me think over this, and then I'll get back to you. Sometimes it's like some things, you know, yeah, this is something that you can do. This is something that you're aligned to do. And there are some certain things that you have to think over. So then you can say that, oh, great, I understood this. Out of this, I think these are the 2 things I can do right now. These are some of the things that we can do right now. I agree to that. We will do something about it. These are some other areas I need to think over, and let me think over and get back to you. So when you're doing a stakeholder interview, you don't need to have fear that you have to commit or say yes to everything that they expect. No, it's just getting into the world and seeing what they expect from you or your role. Then you can discuss it. That's a separate conversation. It's not the same conversation, right? So here you understand the expectations, then what to do with those expectations is a separate conversation. So enjoy doing the stakeholder interviews, do lots and lots of them, and expand your work, expand your world. Thank you very much. Again, hope this was useful.